Yeah, and he was honored by Haryana government with the title of Swachha Garahi. And he has social affiliations with Sahyog Roti Bank, Faridabad Action Group, Greater Faridabad Welfare Association, RTI Forum of India, and Save Aravali Trust. I'm so privileged to introduce him, and I would like to request Mr. Gao to take the session. Please, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, madam, for giving so much of elaborate of my introduction. I don't feel I am out of all the participants. General Dutt is known to me. We are associated with BYST long, and also I have some interaction with Mr. Prasad on some issues, and he's my Facebook friend. Anyway, so today what we have done. First of all, I can tell you it is not my work. I have also learned from somewhere. I have also do, but I have only compiled it. So program today is Worldwide Excellence System. Basically, it is meant for manufacturing and service industry. How is that a entrepreneur is very successful, other one is not one? Same qualification, same sort of experience, something like that. So on that, Carnegie Mellon University, where I happened to attend some executive development program about 20 years back, and when I was working with the Whirlpool, so they have conducted a study worldwide, small, micro, big organization, and they found something common for all the successful entrepreneur as well as the organization. They have summed up. After that, we added some input from Youth Business International and made this a sort of module. So this program is basically for mentor of BYST, input from Citygrid, YST, Pune, Chennai, and Aurangabad are also incorporated. I visited Pune and Aurangabad chapter also. In Chennai, I have some chat on Facebook or on WhatsApp like that. So after that, this model was created for a successful enterprises. Now this model is divided into 3 categories. Okay, one is the base category. If you do that, then value creating objects, they are created, which helps in stakeholder value and vision, whatsoever vision you have. So today in brief, we will like to discuss all these issues along with certain practical example of organization and individual in our area, especially in northern India, because that is where I am stayed. I stayed 7 years in Pune, of course, working with Bajaj Group and Tata. But for last 1990 onward, I am at Faridabad. So the first category of requirement is leadership. Now we say leader, very common thing. Under his leadership, under her leadership, etc., etc. But what is exactly the leadership is? When we talk leadership, first thing comes to our mind is our political leaders. And if we say about political leader in India during a last century or so, one leader which is respected by everybody, irrespective of your, you can say, ruling party or opposition party or some regional party, is Mr. M.K. Gandhi, Ramdas Gandhi. We say he's a leader. So what is so special about it? What was different with him and other people? Why become such a big thing that we call him father of the nation? So for leadership, basic thing is you have to think differently, act differently, challenge the convention, and challenge the status quo. Important. If you see in case of Gandhi, he started something different. He said, I will get freedom through non-violence. Nobody had thought about it. Think differently, then act differently. He gave a call for Dandi March, and few lakhs, after that few crore people joined him. Why? Third thing, when he went for roundtable conference to meet Queen Elizabeth, he was in his normal clothing and he was refused to meet because it was not meeting the Queen's protocol. He said, no, sorry, I can't change it. This is my normal dress. Then Mr. Churchill has to convince the Queen and the government that please allow him. So protocol to meet the Queen was suspended for 24 hours. Only for one time it has happened in the history of Queen of UK. So what he did, if you see minutely, think differently, act differently, challenge the convention. He challenged the convention. I will meet Queen without protocol. What is the problem? And challenge the status quo. If 2 plus 2 is 4, then 4 minus 4 is also 4. That was his philosophy. So in this way, this is leadership quality. Now we'll say in an organization, for an entrepreneur, there are two types of leadership. One is internal in his workplace. And second is external. External means in society, in the neighborhood, everything. Internal, if it is a proper layout, movement of material is not zigzag. There is designated area for everything, proper labeling and clear passage to avoid any accident. If you do something, anybody visit your entrepreneur, your workshop or your factory, something, he will get impressed. You know, this is a professionally based company, have some values. That is important. First impression, sometimes we say, is the last impression. So these are the 4 or 5 things, and everybody is very, our participants are a mature person and they understand. I need not go into detail for that. And then is the external. External of your entrepreneurship, wherever your office is there, something like that, entrance barrier exists there, beautification of the surrounding area, participation of social activity like tree plantation, blood bank, other some activity by the government or by some NGO, and participate in cultural activity. That will give you an identity. You are visible. And there is a small saying, in Hindi we call it, jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai. Whatsoever is visible, you will be able to sell it. So that is second part. Although you are in this way, you are doing social service also, you are making new contact also, and also making yourself as a brand, as a commitment, as an organization, which has some value. And mind it, there is no wrong way to do a right thing. Every right thing has to be done. We will discuss that thing a little bit. Then third is, second aspect after leadership, you say, it is fact-based management. Management cannot be, if you want to run an organization, you have to collect data and not opinion. You cannot say, in my opinion, this is good quality or this is bad quality. You have to support that thing by data. And data sometimes give you very good result. And there are 2 or 3 examples, Samal, I will say. I started my career as engineer training with Atlas Cycle Industries. Now it is closed down, one of the premium at that time, largest seller. It is Sonipat in a small town in Haryana. I joined an engineer training for a period of 6 months when I was doing my BE. So there was a problem. They say, everybody knows about the bicycle. In the bicycle rim, there are 2 items. One is spoke and one is nipple. So nipple is made of brass. So in a bicycle, 68 and 38 was the nipple used in rear and front wheel, normal side bicycle. So they say after every 6 months, there was a stock taking. They say, sir, over 40,000, 30,000, 2 lakhs nipple are being stolen. All management, everything done, security tightened, this and that, made on an automatic machine from Germany, but they were not able to find it. When I joined that company as a trainee, so they gave me this job. Okay, can you analyze the reason of this theft? Okay, I start collecting data. It was difficult to collect, but I collected. So it was not a theft. It was manipulation from the supplier, and nobody was able to detect. But we were able to detect because of proper data. Now we were buying brass from Hindustan Copper in Rajasthan, and contract was on kilo. Like the 1 ton of this was so much price, 2 ton like, and we are given the specification. Yes, sir, this is specification. You have to give us in wire form, and we will convert into the nipple, and that those coil were fed into the automatic machine and like that. So there was a conversion rate of 1 ton of brass will make 40,000 of these nipples or something like that. When we analyze the data, especially they created RCIA, receipt cum inspection data, all the receipt inspections were done. By minutely observing one thing, we realize that the Atlas cycle has given pattern specification for the wire of the diameter, plus as well as in minus. 99% time, the wire was coming in plus size. Quality control was not rejecting it because it was within the limits, within the control limit. But it was never on minus side or at the exact side, mean side, but always on plus side. So then we calculated it on a 6-month basis. We realized that because wire are of more thickness, and in 1 ton, suppose 40,000 was to come, it is coming only 38,000. That was the reason. The automatic machine also has some variations. When we took up this matter with the supplier, they investigated and they say, okay, sorry, because we have an incentive system for our worker. So they set the machine in such a way that it is on the higher side of diameter so that they can finish 8-hour job in 6.5 hours, and 1.5 hours they can relax. So this was able to, we were able to take all these things, and reason of this shortage only because we work on certain data, input data, output data, specification, drawing. So what I mean to say, we should go by data and not by opinion. If this pen is good or this is bad or this is something like that, I have to say, okay, my cutter is very good. So because angles are not sharp and this is like that, efficiency is this made of this steel. So that type of thing. Second case, small case, again, it is a case of chocolate factory. Punjab is a place, Naba. Nestle, everybody knows Nestle. Nestle has a factory there. There I went for ISO audit certifications. There was the different problem. They say in 2 tons of salary, we are used to get sometime 40,000 chocolate and sometime 32. How it is possible, sir? We don't know. It means somebody is stealing. Everything was there, the perfect system, security system was perfect, no chance and all that thing. Then we again analyze the data. We analyze that shortage is most of the time in winter. In northern India, you know, November, December, January, February are quite cold when we have a temperature of 4 degree, 5 degree, 2 degree. And in May, June, July, very high degree, up to 50 degrees sometimes. So when we analyze this thing, so we record that always shortage in the winter season. So I am not a chocolate engineer. So when we realize, ask their R&D people, chocolate density and all that thing, they say in this temperature it will shrink, and in this temperature it will expand. Density will change according to temperature. So from 1 ton of slurry, they are making so much in winter and so much in summer. The winter always less. Then this data was presented to the management. They immediately ordered that factory should be made air conditioned, and workers were happy, and they congratulated me because you conducted the ISO inspection. So we are now working in an air conditioned environment. But that was not the case. Case was management want to save that something like that. So therefore data, in case you can say it has to be very precise. If data is on 20 pages and all that thing, sometimes you don't get any inference from that. And data has to be in tabulation form and also supported by certain graphs, either bar chart or line graph. And data has to be very compact. If you have a 1 month data, then you can say least count should be 1 month, or if you require 1 month data, least count should be 5 days or 10 days, something like that. And data should be meaningful, which has some effect on the operation for which it is meant. And one more thing I have observed during ISO certification, some of the data is being repeated in different form. That is again a wasteful effort. Somebody, you have employed somebody do that he is not adding any value to it. The same data in a different format for the top management, for the government authority, for this, sorry, this is not the way. if data is same, it should be presented in such a meaningful that one data or one table can serve all the purpose. So that is what we call it facts-based management. Then strategic planning. We must know what is our goal. You just cannot say, oh, we must define, we want a growth of 15% by volume or 20% by value. And we must benchmark who is the best of our country, what are their good practice, how they are doing. This is, and if required, intermediately, after some time, we should make necessary modification of our strategic planning based upon the environment. Recent example in this was one of our mentee here. She was a OEM to some of the garment exporter. Good business. Sandhya is her name, and she was also a star performer of BYST 3 years back. Suddenly she was in trouble because of the COVID. Doesn't know what to do. She contacted us, what to do, whatever. We were also troubled. Our buyer says, sorry, all order cancelled, so we can't do anything. So at that time we say, okay, she's a tailoring expert, she has some workforce, ladies. We ask the specification of the cotton mask from the competent authority. We tried that one, we made that one, and with the help of the exporter who were exporting garment, we were able to get an order of 50,000 masks from Russian Federation. We're happy. And markup was also up to 40%. But again, the problem came. They said, no, sir, our custom people say, sorry, sir, this is shortage in India. How you can export it? It was a problem. We have already made investment. Then we met the competent people, Apparel Export Promotion Council, some official in the Ministry of Commerce, and make them understand, no problem. If you want, we can supply to them also. Then we entered into slight collaboration with the, at that time, Air India, as well as SpiceJet, to supply to them also and export to them. So this is how strategic planning. If we make a strategic planning, we have to make the necessary modification based upon the external environment, which is not. Now, in this case, again, I will take the case of Sony example. People must be knowing the example of the manufacturer, the owner of Syming. It was a small organization. After Second World War, as you know, Japan was devastated by the atom bomb by United States. And some small person, he started making small transistor radios. Wanted to sell it worldwide. Was quite successful in Japan itself first. Then he went to USA and he said no. He contacted few departmental store, electronic store in New York. They refused him. You know, we don't believe in Japanese quality and this and that. You go to some. Hello. Yes. Anything? Asking me? Manish, I think we should have question answer after some time, huh? After in the end. And something very urgent, please tell me. Yes, Manish Agrawal?
No, sir. It was a crossed out.
Okay. So that Sony was not able to sell. Then he came back, started his own internal system, how to improve and how to do. And all of you must be know, he invited once Philip Kotler for management training to his people. And so Philip Kotler refused. I can't teach those yellow people who take bath daily. We are taking bath daily, so it was our disqualification in the eyes of American at that time. Anyway, then it gives rise to new concept, which is known as management by objective. It was started by Sony, and now it is a well-known management principle. So after 7 years, the same person went to the same departmental store, big one, New York, and he saw 40% of his shelf filled with the Sony product. He said, you recognize me? They know, I am the person who came to you first time. But you refused me. Now you are having, yes, now I having person like you who at that time helped me. He is my sole distributor for your state. Anyway, so that is example. Third one is Komatsu. Must have seen, everybody knows about Komatsu. This is what you call it, earth moving machinery manufacturer from Japan. Earth moving machinery, either it is Komatsu or today, or it is Caterpillar. Everybody knows about it. But what they say, when Komatsu make a strategic planning post-World War, and they made their policy, quality policy, they say, we will kill the Caterpillar in East Asia and Southeast Asia. And Caterpillar staff laughing on that, because that company, Komatsu, was not even one by 100 part of that one, very small organization. But after 4 years, they were able to monopolize on this earth moving machinery in all the East Asian country, including this, what you call Japan or Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Philippines, etc., etc. Now there is no name all over. Indian case, I have 2 cases. Hindustan Polymers. It was an organization started by late Dr. Charat Ram from DCM Group. It was the first organization to make PPS, expandable polystyrene. This is a raw material for thermocol, what we call it, in India. When they started, they don't have any strategic planning, what we have, but no, because the management wanted immediate returns, profit, bottom line, etc. Top line, bottom line, net profitability, because made a lot of investment. So there was no strategic planning, and there was no profit was not coming first 2 years. Third year, this company was sold to now infamous Vijay Mallya Group, UB Group. And you will be surprised to know, after 3.5 years, this Hindustan Polymer become the flagship company of the Vijay Mallya Group, earning the maximum profit. Again, it has been closed down because of the government policy. You must be aware of that. Similarly, we have in our own city, Metal Box and Gador. Metal Box is a metal box making, and Gador is a hand tool making company. And when I was doing engineering, it was a dream for anybody to work for Metal Box at that time, or Gador, because these were the 2 companies in Haryana, in Faridabad. For an engineer, they were giving 80% bonus. So you work for 1 year, but you get the salary of one year, 10 months. That was agreed. So they have used to have entrance examination and all that thing. They are closed today because they don't have strategic planning. These metal box people want my metal box or powder or vegetable oil or ghee or cosmetic or anything. All were in metal box. Slowly shifted to plastics. They don't have the vision, no planning. If something happened, what will do? So ultimately they closed down. Nothing happened. Same was the case with Gador. Gador is a hand tool factory, #1 in the world. Even the costliest automobile like Mercedes, Benz, even Scania or DAF and MAN, every vehicle was fitted with inbuilt Gador hand tool. They used to supply Gador hand. They have 4, 5, 6 plants. Slowly the expansion, but the expansion is the same thing, same product. They never thought of diversification or something like that. Suddenly, after the opening of the Chinese economy, buyer all over the world found Chinese hand goods are better than that, and they switched to that. Ultimately, first of all, Gador became a private company by the name of Jhalani Tool, and ultimately closed down. So this is how strategic planning help you to achieve your short-term as well as long-term goal. It is important that you should have intermediate discussion, brainstorming about our strategic planning, and if something is required to be amended, to be modified, do in between. Strategic planning doesn't mean that 1 year you make a planning and forget about it. You don't know the external environment in 1 year, they may change. So for that also, for a strategic planning amendment, you require the involvement of all stakeholders, not only the top management, your workforce, your supervisory staff, your supplier, and your buyer. You have to make them understand. If you make them understand, give them clear intimation that, okay, we are going to do, they will feel a part of this change process. Because human nature is If somebody asks me, we are going to do is change, initially they will resist. But if you make them a participative initial stage, they will feel that it is their decision, and they will help you in all the way to ensure that your decision or action are successful in the market. Then we say process capability. Now, what is process capability and process capability index? Process capability start at the time of purchase of raw material and the type of purchase of machinery. I know what is my requirement of the customer. I will tell you in very simple words that the process capability. If we have to cut one wire 2 meter plus minus 0.01, then my process capability of the machine to be 2 meter plus minus 0.05, half of that, so that I am always in my, everybody knows about it, SQC methods and all that thing, process capability. Then SIR, service incidence rate we call it, and which is NPPM, particle per million. Service incidents are the best company at the moment in India. As per data with me, it is of course 3-year-old data. Maruti Suzuki, they have the best service incidence rate in BPM. From the million, they have something about 1,000, but world class standard much better than that. They say 200 or something like that. What is PPM? Service incidence rate. It is how many rejects, how many service call you have from your product, from the customer. How many phone, and one important thing is to dial to a service network of Maruti, you will get your call answered within 3 bells. They may be able to help you, they may not be, but you will get it, because more than 3 bells, it is known as a failure of service incidents by the Maruti management. And all their customer related phone, they have put a computer which counts that after how many bells it was responded. That type of things we are now in this 21st century. Then we have all this statistical quality control techniques, while lower limit, upper limit, then mean value, deviation, this, and quality audit. Quality cannot be inspected. Mind it, quality cannot be inspected. Quality, because when you inspect 100% all that thing, you are having a lot of manpower, and also manpower doing repeated job, likely to miss something. So quality audit is required at a, not at a predetermined interval. Otherwise, everybody will get ready. Okay, for today we have an order. It has to be sometime in fortnightly, sometime in 1, sometime in 3 months, and all that thing. Audit is required, sudden audit of all the process in the system. And third is response time. Response time, I already explained. When some customer have some problem, what is your response time? You answered within 3 bells, okay, no problem. After that, your mechanic came there, or you call him and all that thing, make him understand, replace it, repair it, whatsoever the case may be as per your term and conditions. So in the minimum process time. Now, if you know some of the European company, Germany, I will say, Audi cars, they have a project 2024. The all problem will be attended within 24 hours. And what they have gone, they have Toyota, a model, they call it Lexus model. They have launched in India. I think it has not come. So they say our guarantee or service is anywhere in India. Wherever you are, they will give you a call. Sir, your car is ready for service. Where you are, so their man will go, will hand over another car with gas or petrol in it, and take your car and will deliver your car at your designated. So that type of quality we are going to have in the time to come. If we can cope up with that, no problem. Otherwise, definitely we will in trouble. And there are other methods like Pareto chart, fishbone diagram, and S chart, Gantt chart. Everybody knows about it, and we must have that one on all our process That will help us in process and method improvement and see where we are deviating, where there are more reject, some machine or manpower requires some proper training or education, something like that. Then we have measurement and result. All our action should be measurable. If we can't measure our action, then sorry, this is will be just an opinion. Measurable action, if you see, and the human being, if I understand, is I don't think is capacity or capability of a person is measured. The example is first Olympic started somewhere in Egypt, and today we are after 200 years. After every 4 years, 100-meter record is broken. So we don't know human capacity. Why it is done? With the proper method, with the proper process and method improvement, with proper training. So there is no end to improvement in your process and in your product. Always there is a scope. Nobody can say, I am perfect. When you do this thing, then comes the customer satisfaction. One is customer satisfaction, okay. And a customer delight. Delight means it exceeds the customer expectation. Then it is delight. Definitely give a good to do. Then when customer is delighted, you will earn customer loyalty. Customer loyalty, after that, the same thing, phone call, service call and phone call has to be in way. And one important thing, but we have found, especially in service sector, somebody is giving some internet service to me or phone service to me. And I have a problem. So when I talk to a person, every time different person, then I have to explain everything. I got this on this date, this was the guarantee, this is the problem, it was done. So most of the banks, if you see, or other service industry, they have now designated relationship manager with the customer. You are always comfortable with talking to a person to whom you have already talked 2-3 times from the company. He also understands you, you also understand him. And you will be more open to him. He knows your history, he knows your product and all that. So that is also important, especially basically in service industry, that same person for repeat customer. Designated one service manager, he should with the same set of customers, he should interact. Then is order to delivery time. To say this product will be delivered within 3 hours. To deliver in less than that, great. Or some machinery deliver in 3 months, you deliver in 2 months, something great. So that has to be kept in mind, because these are the all things which help you to retain the customer and increase the customer base. Both ways is like that. Then there is a big debate how to market your product. Somebody is saying distributionship, somebody is saying dealership. Everybody has own logics of pros and cons, some good thing there, some good thing. But general thing is, if your organization is small, in fact, micro level, or as we start in Grampreneur in the BYST, it has to be on dealer base. And when your organization is big one, it is pan India or pan state, then we should go for the distribution. So the last but not the least, all stakeholders. Now people associated with any organization are important. Now all stakeholders, which include your supplier, your customer, employee, and concerned authority, government authority, because in the manufacturing industry, as I understand, I has to interact with 12 or 13 authority, Pollution Control Board, tax, income tax, sale tax act, then what you call it, weight and measurement, food and supplies, excise and taxation. So this is, they also has to be kept in loop all the time for your. So now this is because we started with a world class. So I will tell you world class standard as defined by Carnegie Mellon University, and there are about 40% industry in US who are adhering to these standards. And one more thing at particular, I will like to inform all the participants something very astonishing data which I came to know. We had this problem of pandemic all over the world. including India and US. In GDP of India, the percentage of insurance business, specifically in life insurance, is only less than 4%. In US, it is more than 50%. So you must have seen all these people. So I will definitely say my mentors to encourage some. Yes, sir. So, forthcoming entrepreneur also, this is a industry they should opt for the insurance industry, because penetration rate over is only 8%. It will go up to 50-60% because people have seen what wrong it can do in a time of some problem like pandemic. So this is what then reactant ppm less than 100, particle per million, mind it. On time delivery 100%, go through rate, first go through not rejected 99%, then breakdown, how much losses we have done because of breakdown, in less than 1%. If you have preventive maintenance schedule, it is going to be like that also. Then inventory turn. In India, if you see, inventory carrying cost is something about 24%. We should never keep inventory, huge inventory, because that product may become obsolete, no more required. It is a scrap for you. Things are changing at a very fast rate. Tomorrow you don't know. So you should have minimum inventory rate. Inventory rate 60 may not be possible in a country like India. 60 means one product you have bought repeat order more than 60 times in a year. That is not possible, of course. If you have even to 20 or 30, it is very good for our cycle. Then value added cycle to critical time, less than greater than 50. Total cycle time you put on manufacturing or a product or a service, out of that 50% has to be where you are adding some value to it. When you are adding to value, you're getting profit out of that. You're getting money out of that. If you are doing more than that, 70, 80 for the time which is not value addition, then your long-term prospect of surviving in that industry is tough. Then engineering change process time should be less than 1 day. Okay, it is not possible again in India once engineering change process of change of machinery or change of tools and dies. Sometimes it takes 6 weeks, and some machine you have to buy it some up to 2 months, but we'll try to how minimum we can. Now, in today's environment, again, all these things seems to be very good. When you see for presentation or something like that, looks very good, but there are problems. It's a genuine problem. For even if you following all these things, you still have the problem. What are the problems? Challenges, what are the challenges? Customers are so diverse that their requirements are so varied. How do we identify their exact requirement? So again, here, you have to focus. You have to focus 1 or 2 set of customers, which are in majority. If you try to focus on all the customers, there will in your system, there will be so many variables that you will get confused and efficiency will drop down. So you must identify, like I will tell you the example. Now, this electronic brand Panasonic has 2 models. One is Panasonic, other is Sanyo. They have bought this brand name from Japanese company Sanyo. Sanyo is a budget model TV. Not available on the shop, only available through online shopping. And Panasonic is their premium product. And you will be surprised to know, manufactured in the same factory with the same goods and the same people. Price is 25 to 30% lower than that, because they want to cater only to this, like one premium, one this. For that, they make a separate brand altogether and have a different channel for marketing, because dealer or distribution, they want huge commission, they were not able to pay. So they online through Flipkart and Amazon like that. So that is one part. Then that has to be done. You have to focus only 1 or 2 customers where you feel they are the majority, and you can have their break even with them. They change their requirements so frequently. How do we keep track on their changing requirement? Again, that is a very important thing, and that can be up to some extent achieved by our earlier thing where we say strategic planning. If we say what is happening around us, we must have an alternative plan. this thing is changing like that. So let us make some initial beginning for that, some trial runs or something like the sample producting and all that thing. If requirement comes sometime later, we are able to shift to the new one in the shortest possible time. So that is very important. Sometimes we engineering industry we call it research and development. Somebody say purchase research. Different names are there. But fact is we must be ready for the changing requirement of the customer. Now again, competitor keep finding your way to delight customer. How do we keep track of these and take corrective action? This is again where you can take the example even of Flipkart or something like that, or Zomato, or so it comes through the first of our category. We say leadership. Think differently, act differently. Why do you want to follow your customer? Why don't you do something that your competitor should follow you? You should start something differently. Like example is of everybody must have named this Panasonic. Sorry, not Panasonic. Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi at some time was making big machinery for helicopters and also bicycles. Their bicycles plant in Japan was in trouble. So they put the gentleman who was the head of helicopter unit to bicycle. He said, I don't know, sir, anything about the bicycle. And you no, this is something different. You have to do something different so that this ailing plant is converted into profitable venture. That gentleman, sorry, I am not able to recollect his name at the moment. That gentleman started doing because they were a huge at that time production, something about 5,000-6,000 bicycle per day, selling all over the world and all that thing. 80% was the cost of the raw materials, so profitability was otherwise if they make less than 5,000 per day, there was a loss. That's what type of. That gentleman, what he did, he started the concept of personalized, tailor-made bicycle. I have to buy a bicycle. I will tell this gentleman, he will ask me, what is your height? What is your weight? For that, he will make a bicycle. My name is printed on that. For this Mr. AK got so much weight and all that thing, everything done. And that bicycle was selling at 3 times of the normal bicycle price. And I was happy to take it. That way, Mitsubishi bicycle reduced the production by 30% and improved the profit by 40%. That is the history now. Of course, now they have closed down this bicycle unit. And again, so what I mean, so competitors are finding new way instead of following them and watching them, keeping data, then following them, then you will always be lagging behind them. You do something differently which they have not thought. So again, that is it's a small thing. Producing and delivering product and service on high value means huge amount of investment. How to manage it? Here you can say that some alternative use of material, like in automobile, after this Honda and Toyota and Mitsubishi start making in Japan, they reduce the amount of steels in a car about 40%. Dashboard, bumper, other thing, interior, they shifted to plastic, which cost was 1/4 of the cost of the steel and looks also good. So that type of innovative things, you have to think differently and act differently, challenge the status quo and challenge. That is all for today. I have what I have, I could do best of my knowledge. Now, any particular questions, sir? That way.
Mr. Gaur,
Yes.
in the service industry,
Yes, sir.
the biggest problem is how to keep the customer happy.
Yes, sir.
Now, changes are taking place. As you have rightly mentioned, I think it's a great lecture you have told us. One has learned a lot about strategic planning. Could you give us some ideas about strategic planning in service industry? What should they plan?
What planning, sir? Inventory planning?
For service industry.
Inventory planning?
No. Strategic planning.
Strategic planning. Okay. Service industry is, first of all, again, we have to collect the data, what is happening here, what is happening in Europe and what is happening in US. And fortunately, we have that data now on the net. You need not spend any money. So, like we must say, okay, what is the order to delivery time? What is over? What material they are using? What is the service incidence rate in that country, in that product, and all that thing. Once you collect the data and our own data we know, then we must see okay, what is the happening and all that thing, where we can, there are something, you will find some variable where we can improve immediately, and some variable we may not improve for years together because of the different geographical condition and cost structure and our tax structure and all that thing. So we must concentrate on the thing like where we can adopt the world-class standard by way of benchmarking easily without much investment or capital invest, because it's very difficult. If same thing can be done at a cheaper thing, by a cheaper way, by having some different type of mechanism or different type of service or different type of after sales thing, that will be better. And Janas Sahab, you know the our cases, so many cases, you know the case of Sandhya, you know the case of Hitendra, and Hitendra again started, he initially started as a service industry, become a manufacturer. And this our latest case is man who is making helmets and all that thing. He started with service industry, buying product from somebody and selling to something. Now he has his own mechanism. So in service industry, the problem service industry, which I say for ladies, it is ladies and gents are all together, like beauty parlor or something like stitching industry or IT industry or medical service industry and all that thing. So in that way, the only thing surviving is that we have to be very, very, very up to date what is happening. Like latest is service industries, medical test. Now you can have all medical tests at your place without much money. They will come to you, check your blood, and will give you report in the evening. So now if you see directly, they are saving cost, you are also saving cost. You need not go to hospital. Fuel charges and parking charges. Then they are saving the charge, they are sending the one man to you, and they are saving that they need not print any report to you. They are saving their ink and paper and everything and sending them the report to you on your email. It is your responsibility to take it down, print it out like that. So we have always in service industry, always and always there is a scope for improvement, cost reduction, because any service industry or manufacturing industry, there are three criteria to be a successful entrepreneur: cost, quality, and productivity. And all three things are interrelated. So one, we catch one of them, improve it, two will automatically improve. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Very kind of you.
Thank you. Anybody else, sir? Come, madam.
Sir, Sridhar here.
Yes, sir.
How much of these practices would be applicable for a startup?
You see,